Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to World of Wrestling. Here today to discuss about random wrestling talk episode number 6. Boy, do we got a shitload of news besides the wild news about Cody Rhodes leaving AEW to ultimately possibly go to WWE. I'm going to get into that in just a moment, but I'm going to also go over some other things that are taking place. I do see there's a few comments in the chat before I went online, so I will hear. He thinks he was too early. Okay. The Elamester, I believe is how I pronounce your name. I do apologize. Elamester. This is not going to hurt AEW at all. In fact, a lot of wrestling fans are happy that Cody is going away from AEW. Tony is going to buy his time, and when the time is right, he gets game changers. Yeah, I think maybe use as like their version of their NXT and like have a mini promotion from underneath, like an underground promotion underneath AEW that they can utilize for the younger stars that they can't put onto the main roster of AEW and do it that way. I mean, they could always do events taking place out of the Hammerstein Ballroom and things of that sort. So that would be pretty entertaining just to see some AEW stars that are not able to be highlighted on Dynamite or Rampage to be on like a dark type of thing with game-changing wrestling. So, yeah. Elemester also went ahead and stated, honestly, I think Cody is going to go to New Japan Wrestling. I agree with that full-heartedly, but I'll go into that with you guys in just a moment. Daniel went on to state, I hope Cody goes to New Japan. He'd be a big star like how Mox is in AEW. Totally agree with that, Daniel. I think that was great. That would be great for him overall. Let me just get into one thing that I came across during the weekend. And Daniel brought this up to me in comments about the whole situation with Vince McMahon and his attitude towards the WWE product right now at this time. He actually sees there's nothing wrong with the product. He sees it to be perfectly fine. The reason being is because in a quarter period, he made over $1 billion. So he sees no reason to change anything up in the near future or anytime during that point. My attitude is this. Your company is lackluster in the way of creative. You can get all the venues that you want of getting income from like streaming services, the Saudis, wherever. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, you're going to struggle once you start losing those other venues that you're getting that money from. And like Peacock eventually is going to give, probably not want their service anymore. I believe they're on a 5-year contract with this. So, I mean, if they're not seeing any value out of WWE, Peacock is just going to totally throw to them the curb and not give a rat's ass and quit giving money towards them. There's been news in the last year or so that investors are fed up of their company. They're starting to back out of the company, stocks. So, I mean, truthfully, WWE will eventually start losing those other assets that they're getting right now with all the money that they're making. By the way, if you just came in, please hit the like button to support this channel, just so that we can get this video out there to everyone else and make it a little bit more reasonable for this channel to get a little bit bigger. That's all I ask of you guys. I wouldn't ask you guys for money. I mean, I'm not going to ever do that. But personally, I would really like to get this channel to a level that I believe it's capable of doing. I know that I have to improve the production of this channel as well, which I'm eventually going to do. But if you want to support the channel, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it, guys. But anyway, uh, do I have a Discord community? No, I do not, Elemester. I apologize about that. I strictly do this off of my webcam from YouTube, doing live streams, so that's how I do this. Appreciate whoever hit the like button there. Greatly appreciate it. So venues. Run out of venues, and that's going to leave them an issue with their income and their money and so forth. So at the end of the day, guys, they're going to need to rely on creativity and giving people the enjoyment of watching their product. If you're not giving the people what they want, they're going to be making like 3 million viewers per episode on Raw and like slightly over 2 million on SmackDown. Now SmackDown's holding their end of like 2.1, 2.2 sometimes on a good day, and they're getting ratings out of this stuff. But Raw is like a 1.5, 1.6. Sometimes they jump up to 1.8, but they have not reached 2 million in about a year or two, I believe, possibly. But I mean, in 2014, 2015, they were getting like 3 million, 2 million viewers per episode on a Monday Night Raw episode. And now they're like down under a 2. They're not even reaching 2 million. They're at 1.8 the most, from what I've heard, at least when I follow the ratings and so forth. Daniel, I greatly appreciate you liking the stream. So thank you very much, Daniel. And I love talking to you, by the way, on the comments and all that and shit like that. But bottom line, guys, I really think that WWE needs to improve on creative. They need to stop repeating the same matches over and over and over again. Which this brings me over to Cody Rhodes. And I know Cody's never going to watch this video, probably. I got like 1 in a million chance of him ever catching a video like this. This channel's not super popular. I do this for a hobby because I love it. I like it to turn into something more. But hey, if it's just a hobby, no big deal. But I'd like to try my best in making this most successful channel I can possibly make it. But let's be real, guys. Cody is going to be stepping into a shitstorm if he decides to come to WWE. That's all there is to it. I mean, let's be real, guys. WWE has no care whatsoever for their talent. You can tell by watching the shows on a weekly basis. They give nothing to nobody. Matt Riddle looks like a complete ass clown on television on a regular basis. Randy Orton, being one of the greatest performers in the last 10 years or so, has done nothing on this program in the last year or so. He's been a fucking complete waste. He eliminates the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, from existence, beats him at a WrestleMania match from last year that he should have lost, and then moves on to Matt Riddle and teams with him in a joked out fucking tag team storyline. I mean, come on, man. Really, let's get real. Cody is stepping into a shitstorm, and there ain't no way in hell he's going to step out until that contract of his is up. If he thinks for a solitary second that Vince McMahon's going to give him creative control of what he wants to do in the middle of the ring, like say what he wants to say, like he does in AEW, he is out of his fucking mind. It's never going to happen. It is near to impossible to convince Vince McMahon to even allow him to do the same stuff he was doing in Ring of Honor, New Japan Wrestling, or even AEW. That's all there is to it. All Cody Rhodes is to WWE is a way of saying, fuck you, AEW. See, we can get your fucking talent anytime we want, even if knowing full well that they will get obliterated creatively on national television. So there you go. I mean, that's all there is to it, guys. It's a fucking joke. Anyway, let me go into some of the comments that were made in the chat. Ella Mester says that, wholeheartedly that Cody would be buried if he went back to WWE. No kidding. They would treat him like as if he was a WCW reject type of mentality. None of the WCW guys got over. If you look at Booker T back in 2003 at WrestleMania 19, he should have beat Triple H for the WWE World Championship, and he never did. He ended up losing that match. They had a great build going into WrestleMania 19. He had a great story about his real life story about him as a youngster coming out of the ghetto, improving his life, getting better with society and everything else in between. And he just loved, he just wanted to do something great and accomplish something that he never thought he would, and that's become a world champion in WWE. So he goes in that WrestleMania match. As you all know, he lost the match. So, I mean, and he got screwed over in the process. The pedigree was pathetic. He rolls over on his back for Triple H to slowly, forever, to put his hand on his chest for the referee to count to 3. And that's the end of Booker T at that point. The only time he ever became world champion was on SmackDown, pretending he was a British king, and became the world champion being a dickbag heel. Okay, great. Whoop-de-fucky-do. So Cody's thinking he's going to come into WWE and act like he's going to get the Edge treatment, the Brock Lesnar treatment, the Roman Reigns treatment, the Rock treatment. Trust me, bro, you ain't getting shit. You ain't going to get nothing from WWE. The only thing you're going to get is a stiff kick in the ass and say, go break a leg, asshole. And oh, yeah, don't forget the script here. You got to follow it word for word and sound like a moron and enjoy it. That's pretty much all WWE is going to do for Cody. Cody ain't going to accomplish anything coming to this company. He ain't going to change anything creatively in WWE. He's not going to impress anybody, and he ain't going to deliver the same kind of Cody Rhodes we're used to from the indies back over to the WWE product. Ain't fucking happening. You can bet your bottom dollar on this. It ain't happening. And if Vince McMahon happens to sign him, if he puts him back in that Stardust fucking act, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to discontinue watching WWE in that case. I really don't know. I don't want to put myself in a corner and say I'm not going to watch it anymore and I'm not going to review it and then change my mind later on and sound like a fucking hypocrite. So I'm not going to say anything right now at this time. Personally, I don't think that him going to WWE is his best option. Let me go back to the comments in the chat. Daniel says, I feel like WWE would hurt his career if he goes back, but let's hope Japan or Ring of Honor gets him. I agree with you on that, Daniel. And also, I'll tell you this, Daniel. He is a hypocrite. He's a fucking he's a sellout. Bottom line. He is a full-blown sellout if he goes to WWE. There is no reason for him to go to WWE in any way, shape, or form. They did him wrong. They had him go on national television as Stardust and tell his own father that he's not his father. He rejects him as his own dad. How fucked up can you get? I mean, I understand you're trying to build a storyline. I understand you're trying to make Cody as heelish as possible. But to say that your father is dead to him is absolutely fucking ridiculous. The sad part is, a year after that comment was made by Cody, his father was dead. Literally, his father, Dusty Rhodes, died. I think that's fucking terrible. I really do. And for him to have to go out there and say that to his old man, leave WWE, make something out of himself, and then come back to WWE just because him and Tony Khan couldn't come to agreements on the creative power within AEW, I think is a little pathetic in my own opinion. I can understand maybe he wants to stroke his own ego. Don't go back to the original company that fucked you. Really, come on, man. Have a little decency. If anything, have respect for your old man. I mean, that's ridiculous. On top of that, why wouldn't, if you want to prove to Tony Khan you're making a mistake by not having me allow me to have some control, creative control within AEW, go to a lower end promotion and do the creative end of booking. Because I guarantee a Ring of Honor would definitely allow him to do that. They really need any help they can get at this point. They are on the verge of bankruptcy. For all we know, they're probably already going in bankruptcy and going to close up altogether. I have heard they're going to do a Super Card of Honor in April around WrestleMania weekend. So I don't know if they're really going out of business or not. But at the end of the day, it is, very important that Cody doesn't jump to the most popular product. And I'm not saying that in a good way because it's a well-known product. Let me put it that way. Not popular, but a well-known product. Everyone knows who WWE is when it comes to pro wrestling. But let's get real, man. WWE ain't going to do him any favors. Ring of Honor is the best place for him to go to exercise his ability to be a creative genius within a promotion. And they'll give him that right because he's a well-known guy. He will help them get eyes on their product. Not just performing in the ring, but if he has some creative control and Sinclair wants to give him that right to do that, because they did that with what was his name? Marty Scurll. They gave him that power, yet he got in trouble with some really off-the-wall shit with sleeping with underage women. So they were going to give Marty Scurll that opportunity, and he just blew it. But Cody doesn't have any negative PR on him. He is got 2 shows he works on, a reality TV show and a game show. I mean, Ring of Honor would really benefit from the use of Cody Rhodes being in Ring of Honor and him helping them elevate them to a higher level. I think that would be the best place for Cody Rhodes to go to. Hit a 1 in the chat if you guys agree with me on the Ring of Honor subject of Cody going there and being a creative writer for them and maybe helping them get to a level that they were at one point when they were able to perform at a Madison Square Garden or not. So anyway, let me move on to some other comments here as well. Matt87 Eagle says, what's a worse WrestleMania match? Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin or Kevin Owens versus Stardust? Really, is that hard to figure out, Matt? I mean, it's that easy. KO versus Stardust. I mean, you can't get any shittier of a match than that, man. I mean, that's ridiculous. Why would that would do more harm to Kevin than it would to Cody? I mean, let's get real here. Kevin's on the worst freaking build right now in WWE. He can get even worse with a Stardust. Stone Cold Steve Austin, not so much. Not that it really matters. The storyline would be absolutely ridiculous. But to be able to stand in the middle of the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin when he hasn't performed in almost 2 decades and get to perform in front of 100, possibly 100,000 people, that's a huge turnaround for him. Now, do I really care to see Stone Cold Steve Austin actually show up in Austin, Texas and perform in front of a WrestleMania crowd? Yes and no. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've always wanted him to come back to do at least one more match if it was safe for him to do so. And personally, with it being as long as it's been since he's wrestled, I don't think he needs to. I don't think it's really necessary for him to wrestle. I don't think it's going to help elevate the WrestleMania pay-per-view card. I don't see the point in doing any of that. I think it would be absolutely ridiculous for Stone Cold Steve Austin to come back. And I have heard last night, I'm sitting there, I'm minding my own business, right? I'm playing some video games and whatnot. And all of a sudden, I get a notification from JD from New York 206 about Monday Night Raw's review. And I see Stone Cold Steve Austin's face in the thumbnail. And I'm going, what the fuck does JD have Stone Cold Steve Austin in the thumbnail for? And from what is going on is WWE, Vince McMahon himself is asking for Stone Cold Steve Austin to come back for a WrestleMania match. Forget about just being involved physically and doing something in some capacity. He's talking about actually getting in the ring to wrestle someone. Now, I did read an article on Stone Cold Steve Austin saying if he was ever able to come back, he would actually wrestle someone. Let me just check out specifically. I think it was Brock Lesnar. He said he would love to wrestle Brock Lesnar. And the reason why is I think it has a lot to do with what made him leave the WWE back in 2002 when he took his ball and went home. And I think he would like to build a storyline around him and Brock Lesnar revisiting that whole situation and kind of implementing it in their actual WrestleMania match if he was to able to come back and wrestle. But that's all he's really said he wants to do. He's not really interested in a match with anyone else. He's not interested in Kevin Owens. He's not interested in anything like that. The only thing he cares about is that match with Brock Lesnar. And to be quite frank with you, I see that as the only real legitimate reason to bring him back because he's the only person that Steve Austin has any beef with is Brock Lesnar because they were supposed to face each other in a storyline that had a match that was not supposed to have a storyline at all. Brock Lesnar was supposed to beat Stone Cold Steve Austin in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament in their very first match. And I'm just like, really? No storyline, no build? This sounds like modern day WWE shit in today's day and age. So I was really confused by that when I heard it a long time ago. And it just is really crazy that they did that. And for him to bring that up now, I think it would be kind of interesting. But at the same time, let's be real. He's been out of wrestling for 20 years almost. I mean, what has he got to prove to anybody? He's older. He's in his I think he's in his mid-50s. Let me just double check this real quick. All right, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let me see how old he is. The man is 57 fucking years old. Steve Austin is 57 years old. Why does he need to come back and wrestle for anybody? There's no reason for it. The guy has done everything he can. He's worked for the company for amount of years that he's put in that most people could not do in the amount of time he did. Let's get real. But yeah, there's all kinds of articles. Sports Illustrated is reporting that WWE is discussing a Stone Cold Steve Austin match at WrestleMania 38. I mean, you got all kinds of Digital Spy is reporting this. Wrestling Incorporated is reporting this. Steve Austin to wrestle at wrestle a match at WrestleMania 38. Update on Steve Austin possibly returning to the ring at WrestleMania 38 by NoDQ.com. Let me check this out and see if there's any new information or something different going on with this. So, as previously noted, Steve versus Kevin Owens has reportedly been discussed for WrestleMania 38, which would be Austin's first match since 2003 if it happens. In an update, Mike Johnson from PW Insider noted that WWE did reached out to Austin in late December, early January to gauge his interest in doing something for WrestleMania. Johnson wrote the following. The idea pitched at the time was to have Austin return and compete in Texas as one-time send-off in front of a massive crowd, with the idea that Austin's involvement would help boost WrestleMania ticket sales, as the company needs to move in the arena or in the area of 200,000 tickets to sell out both nights at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. These people need to sell out 200,000 tickets because there's 100,000 seats and they're doing it 2 nights. They are putting so much work on themselves that is absolutely ridiculous. Again, I've stated this. I know there's other YouTubers out there that state that the 2-night events are great and all. I don't think that 2 nights are needed for WrestleMania. I think that they should do a 1-night event with 9 matches, lasts a total of 4 hours, and that is it. That's all they need. You don't believe me? Go back and look at the WrestleMania 21, look at WrestleMania 28, and look at WrestleMania 23. Those matches, I believe there was a grand total of 9 matches. If I want to be accurate on this, let me just take a look at WrestleMania 23. I know WrestleMania 22 had at least 9 matches. So let me just check out real quick a WrestleMania 27 in my collection of DVDs that I got here from pay-per-view events from back in 2007. Give me 1 second. WrestleMania 23. All right. Let me pull this sucker out if I can. All right, so we had John Cena versus Shawn Michaels in a WWE Championship match. Batista and Undertaker for the World Championship. That's 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches. This pay-per-view had 8 matches. It has a total of 4 hours total of wrestling content at this event. You're telling me you can't fill a 4-hour event with 8 matches? You got a roster that's completely dead, literally. You have nobody there. You've eliminated everybody. If they would have kept everyone that they had before the budget cuts shit, I would agree that maybe, yeah, this would be a good idea for a 2-night event. But now that you gotten rid of everybody, things are starting to look like at WrestleMania 38, we may be looking at 1 world champion under the WWE banner for the main roster. Chances are the draft is going to be done. The brand supremacy will be over with. We will have everything unified under one umbrella. And we'll have Raw and SmackDown where superstars are able to compete on both brands with no limitations. So, with that being said, what the fuck do you need 2 nights for? Especially being at fucking AT&T Stadium that holds 100,000 people. They had to literally lie about the attendance at WrestleMania 32. They were under 100,000. They didn't sell out 100,000 seats. They had like 90-something thousand seats. They had about the same amount for WrestleMania 3 when Hulk Hogan faced Andre the Giant. I mean, give me a fucking break, man. They're not going to sell out 200,000 seats. Fuck off. You kidding? Get the fuck out of here. So, yeah. WrestleMania 21, WrestleMania 22, and WrestleMania 23 had at least 8 to 9 matches combined for that one card and was able to do a total of 4 hours, and it was a success. You're telling me they can't do the same fucking thing? Get out of here. It's bullshit. Let me continue on and reading this stuff. Johnson added that there was always a plan for Austin to kind of involvement, some kind of involvement with WrestleMania this year. However, Johnson was told that Austin has not yet committed to doing a match, and no sources have confirmed that he will actually be wrestling at the event. All right, well, this is great news. We don't have to see Austin possibly end up dead somewhere. Thank goodness for that. Because who knows what his health condition really is. I mean, let's be honest. So during Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave Melty Boy addressed the matter. The impression I have is the match is on. Oh, brother. Dave Meltzer, look, he is one of the, he's a good reporter, but he has a tendency to say things that aren't 100% confirmed yet until it actually happens. So, I mean, like, what the fuck, But he's saying that he hasn't, the impression is the impression I have is the match is on. I know that backstage at WWE all day, that's all I kept hearing about. Not all I kept hearing about, but I heard it early in the day and then kept checking around, and more people were saying they heard the same thing. I don't know that it's a done deal, but people were talking like it was. Okay. So Dave Meltzer is thinking that the match is on, but in reality, it really isn't. Until it's confirmed that there's a signed deal that Austin's showing up on national television, like a Raw or a SmackDown, which more than likely Raw if he's facing Kevin Owens, there ain't nothing done about this. There is no done deal with these two guys. There's not going to be a match with Austin. So I'm going to say right now at this point, forget about Steve Austin altogether. Count him out of everything until we see him on national television. That is all we can say at this point. During his podcast, though, in 2019, Austin did say the following about possibly having one more match. For the last couple of weeks down there at the Raw reunion in Tampa, down there at the Madison Square Garden show at Monday Night Raw, people always ask me, hey, man, you're still in really good shape? You got one more match left in you? And I tell them, man, I say, it's a tough it's tough to tell them. It's a tough thing to think about. Physically, would I be able to have one more match? Yes, most definitely. And I could make it to that match without being injured. Although the risks are always there, just because I think all of the surgeries I had, where I had the spinal stenosis and getting that bone spur taken off my spinal cord, I'm in a good place. Nerves are feeling a lot better than they used to. So, in theory, could I have a match? In theory, yes. So he's saying they could have a match, but there's no guarantee he's going to show up and actually have a match. So everything's still up in the air. Nobody really knows what's going on. And that's all there is to it. I mean, that's all. It's just talk. There's nothing solid proof fact that is going to happen. So there you go. Anyway, let me move back. Let me go back to the comments in the chat. Daniel stated earlier, I'm so pissed when Vince said what he did if it was the case, which I feel like it's true since Vince is delusional. In his mind, I feel like he's saying this is such good shit. Yeah, I mean, he thinks as long as his company's making money, that's all he cares about. He don't give a fuck about anything else. He don't care about the direction that the company's going. He don't give a fuck about any of it. He just cares about what he's making when it comes to money. That's all he gives a fuck about. And you know what? That's downright garbage. You need to care about the direction you got your company going. You need to care about building the stars that you currently have on your roster and trying to improve that more and more each and every single week. But unfortunately, that's not the case with Vincent Mann at all. So there you go. The Ellenmeister. Do you think Cody leaving AEW will hurt the company? No, I don't. I think with all the different talent that's coming in from WWE that was mistreated from that company, it's going to make up the loss of Cody Rhodes. Do I see Cody as a creative genius, a possible guy that could improve behind the scenes? Absolutely. But at the same time, if you're going to be an in-ring talent, there's always that little, biased opinion of what should be going on with you in the ring. For example, that thing with Sammy Guevara, I think was absolute bullshit. I don't think Sammy Guevara should have lost that title on the TNT Championship to Cody, ultimately making them have to unify the two titles together, having an interim championship and an actual TNT champion, and having a ladder match. Do I think the match was good? Absolutely. I thought the match was excellent, but it wasn't necessary. It really wasn't necessary for them to have to go through with that. I think they could have had that match take place no matter what anyway, without having a unification match between these two. And that's just the way I feel about it. But if you got a difference of opinion, hey, by all means, everyone's got a difference of opinion. That's fine with me. The Elemester says, why would Vince rely on Stone Cold Steve Austin? And Stone Cold is best off doing podcasts on both AEW and WWE shit. Elemester, I agree. I don't think he needs to wrestle anymore. Like I said earlier, I think he is past his prime. I think he's proven everything he can to us at this point in his career. With him being gone for 20 years, I think it's long gone for us to get a one more match from Steve Austin. I think him being 57 years old is asking a little too much from the guy, especially not wrestling for 20 years. You're going to have in-ring rust, and you're not going to look the same that you did back in the old days. People are going to do comparisons. And if you don't add up to what you were doing a while back when you last wrestled, like against The Rock at WrestleMania 19, which was an excellent match, by the way, people are going to judge you on the comparison that you did in your last match to the one you're currently going to be doing. And if you're not hitting it on all cylinders like you used to, people are going to be judgmental about that and really not like what you did in that match and look at it going, you just ruined your career. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why would you do that? So my personal opinion, I think he should stay away for his own legacy of his career. I think that would be the best bet for him to do. So that's just the way I feel about it. Matt87 Eagle states, it won't take long for Vince to put Cody back in that ridiculous gimmick. Yeah, everybody's saying that, Matt. Joe Cronin posted a video earlier today after the news broke that chances are Vince is going to put Cody in a fucking Stardust costume. And this guy I used to follow on a regular basis, the Brad Rules, he talks about wrestling from time to time on his channel. He even stated, Cody's leaving AEW, whip out the Stardust makeup, here we go again, type of thing. So, yeah, a lot of people are believing he's going to end up being Stardust. If that's what they do, he's a fucking complete sellout loser. He's doing it for money, and it ain't going to stroke his ego in any way. So I don't know what the hell he would even consider going to WWE unless they were going to give him creative control and let him be Cody Rhodes that he was in the Indies. If they're going to do that, then he's got something, but still at the end of the day, why would he go to the enemy, the company that he shitted on for so many years? I mean, even before AEW, he was taking shots at WWE when he was in Ring of Honor and New Japan Wrestling. So I just really don't get the mentality of him going to WWE at this point. It's beneath him, to be perfectly honest. So whatever. Matt 87 Eagles stated he's not asking. Vince is begging for Austin to come back to get his ass to get asses in the seats. Well, hey, I guess Vince McMahon ain't doing so hot with his income apparently because he's so damn worried about the fans getting their asses in the seats. Why not worry about trying to, again, I state, this man is worrying about asses in the seats. 200,000 tickets sold for a 2-night event that can consist of 100,000 seats each night. Why not worry about trying to build your product from within with the roster that you have? That is the problem that Vince McMahon doesn't see. He used to see it that it's important to build your product with the roster that you have, making them bigger stars, improving their popularity with the audience. None of these people stand out at all. They're not even, forget larger than life superstars. They don't even stand out as individuals anymore. The music sounds the same. JD from New York complains about that on a consistent basis on his channel. 100%. I totally agree with him on that. I mean, look at Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss's music. I swear to you guys, at the Royal Rumble, when Liv Morgan's music hit, I thought it was Alexa Bliss coming out. I think they had the same exact fucking song, for God's sakes. I mean, it's ridiculous. You got music that sounds the same. Bland, ordinary, pathetic. There's no rock music. There's no nothing. You look at Ring of Honor. I don't care about what talent. I don't care if they don't entertain you. They have music. Literally music played by real musicians. Okay? They may not be big superstar musicians like mainstream musicians, but they have hardcore metalhead music playing for the entrances of these superstars, or rock music, or, women, like soft type music that'll make the superstar stand out within their company. This company don't do that. We got fucking music that sounds all the same and generic. What the hell? And that thing with Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss is a prime example of that. So, it's crazy. Really is crazy. All right, moving on to the other comments that were made. Ella Master states that Mania 32 is one of the worst wrestling shows in history. Ooh, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, it was bad. I'll give you that. It was bad, but it wasn't the worst. I actually think the worst WrestleMania was actually WrestleMania. Trying to think here. The worst WrestleMania. That was pretty bad. I will agree with you. But I think there was one that was worse than that. I think it was possibly WrestleMania 34. I mean, think about it. You had the main event with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Who the fuck gave a shit about that match? Everyone was like, all right, we give up. Give fucking Roman the damn title and let us end this suffering already and move on with our lives. Nope, they made Brock Lesnar retain the championship, and he stayed the Universal Champion. So who gives a fuck? Ella Master says suffering succotash and tater tots down the throats is absolutely garbage. Okay. Daniel went on to state, do you think that AEW should have a Hall of Fame in a few years like WWE and TNA? I really don't think it's necessary, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they should have like a Hall of Fame for all wrestling promotions of all different performers from those promotions. I think this whole specific Hall of Fame from a specific promotion is kind of ridiculous. I don't particularly like that mentality. WWE is the only real logical one to have that right now at this point because they've been around for so long. I can understand them having their own Hall of Fame, but AEW's got to be around for like 20, 30 years to be able to have something like that. By the way, TNA, no longer has the Hall of Fame. They don't put anyone in a Hall of Fame anymore. They did that for a few years, and then that just died out. As well as the name TNA, they went to Impact Wrestling. I don't know if you know of that or knew that, but and this is no insult to you, Daniel. I just maybe you didn't know that possibly. I mean, I can understand. I mean, like who the fuck really watches Impact Wrestling except for a bunch of average Joe people that really are hardcore wrestling fans and want to catch every different promotion they possibly can watch to check out all the talent that's going on in the pro wrestling world. So, but yeah, TNA stopped doing their Hall of Fame a long time ago. I think by like 2014 it was. So, yeah. Um, I'll go back to there was a new comment by Daniel reacting towards what I just stated about the Hall of Fame thing. If AEW ends up having a Hall of Fame in 10 to 20 years, I want to see Brody Lee be the first Hall of Famer. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. One, it's honoring the man's legacy. He died with a horrible health condition that nobody knew about. He actually was a highly entertaining person, especially with what he did in WWE. He was actually rumored to possibly be in a WWE championship match uh, at WrestleMania 33, I believe, at the Orlando event back in 2017. So yeah, that is a bit that I totally agree with you on that. I think that Brody Lee should be in the Hall of Fame if AEW ends up creating their own Hall of Fame in the future. Totally agree on that. Daniel also stated earlier that no wondering Punk's pipe bomb remains true. Absolutely. I think CM Punk's pipe bomb in Las Vegas in 2011 was 100% true. I think that there's only a few superstars that Vince McMahon has worked along with and made into mega stars, has made the company legitimate. But outside of that, everybody else has been a complete waste of time. And literally, they just do not care about pro wrestling at all. That's all I have to say on that. Ella Mester states that Punk said it best: main event night of a buy one get one free extravaganza, and then get released faster than you last in the sack. Oh man, that comment back in the couple of weeks ago was absolutely fucking funny. That CM Punk said to MJF. Yeah, that would probably be the best thing for WWE to do right now with this live event. Buy one, get one free. You buy it for night one, you get it for free for night two, and you can show up for both shows. I mean, literally, who in their right mind, especially with prices being up the way they are, prices are overinflated. Apartments, hotels. Thinking about that, hotels. You want to go see, if you're not living in the Texas area, and you don't live anywhere near Austin, Texas, and you want to go see WrestleMania 38, God knows, I don't know why you would want to go see WrestleMania 38 when you can sit in the comfort of your own fucking home with the pandemic going on the way it is. From what I'm hearing, pandemic is getting a better, actually, which God bless us all for that. But still, I mean, prices of everything, gases, hotels, fucking, you don't think the prices on the tickets for WrestleMania 30 ain't gonna be high? Give me a fucking break. I guarantee you. I purchased a ticket for WrestleMania 36 back in 2020, just before pandemic came and it got canceled. I spent $275 on one ticket to sit by. This is Raymond James Stadium, okay, guys? So imagine this. I'm sitting near the field goal post, where the field goal post would be. So I'd probably be where the entrances are coming out and going towards the ring. They wanted only $275. I guarantee you right now, if you looked up on Ticketmaster or anything like that, to get a ticket at a WrestleMania 38 event, and you even wanted to go to both shows, dude, you're going to spend a fucking fortune on a ticket for just yourself alone for both nights. Then you also got to count the amount of money you're going to have for hotel, the amount of money you're going to have to go for a plane. I mean, the prices accumulate unbelievable amounts of money that you would have to spend just to go to this event. And that's for any event. That includes an AEW event. AEW will be expensive to go to. But if you're going to choose between an AEW event and a WWE event, at least the prices on the tickets for an AEW event is going to be a little bit cheaper. They're in a normal size venue, which I kind of miss the WrestleManias appearing in like a Staples Center or Madison Square Garden, something like that. It's a little bit more condensed, smaller, and it's not so, glimpse and glamour type of shit. It's more along the lines of a normal type of pay-per-view event that you can enjoy for 3 to 4 hours. And, it looks a little bit easier to the eyes, I guess you could say. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the events taking place in these large, massive stadiums are cool. But sometimes you just need a fucking break. And this is going to be a challenge for WWE to accumulate 200,000 tickets. They're lucky they can accumulate over a million fucking viewers per week with the garbage that they show us. So come on, guys. Let's get real. Oh, fuck. Anyway, Daniel goes on to say, I miss when WWE used music from musicians like with Rey Mysterio, POD, Batista, Saliva. They did I believe it's I Walk Alone or some shit, I think was the name of the title. Triple H's theme song by Motorhead, and even Cena's music, which was made by himself alone. And he goes on to say the good old days. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I miss those days. I miss when they had their own creative music for their walkout entrances. You could tell who the fuck is coming out. As you already know, you have all those names of those wrestlers, and I could name each and every musician that did their song for that specific person. Can you believe that shit? You try to test me with that with other wrestlers, I wouldn't even know who the fuck did the music. This fucking label that they use is generic shit. I mean, whatever, man. It's fucking retarded. Elmester states, Brody is easily gonna be the first. Yes, I agree. That was dealing with the Hall of Fame stuff. And Elmester also states, I'd rather go to a Double or Nothing event instead of a WrestleMania. I totally agree with you, especially if Double or Nothing, the next time they actually have a live crowd, they're in Las Vegas. I really am considering possibly, I highly doubt it's going to happen. I think I'm probably going to wait until this pandemic is completely cleared out and we don't have any more worries about this virus. But I'm really tempted, if they have Double or Nothing take place in Las Vegas at MGM Garden Arena, I am really tempted of going because I've wanted to go on a vacation to Las Vegas anyway. And then to add that to the mix, that would be just a cherry on the top, man. That would be fucking awesome. Especially around my birthday, which my birthday is April 1st, but this is a month after my birthday. I'd fucking go anyway. I wouldn't give a shit. That to me would be my birthday present, man. I'd love to go see that shit. Nellemester states that AEW uses really cool themes like for Hook, Darby. Yeah, the entrance music for Darby is excellent. Team Taz, it's okay. Jericho makes his own music, so of course it's going to sound good. It's his own fucking music, I would hope so. Sammy Guevara, his music's okay. I mean, I don't know the musicians that do this music for each one of these guys, Moxley has a very well-known popular song. The song was actually used in the movie Major League, which is a legit song in a nutshell on its own. Wild Thing. I liked even the old song that he had before he switched it to Wild Thing. That was a really good theme song. Kenny Omega's theme song. It sounds a little like Japanese type feel to it, like, because he wrestled in New Japan. He makes the music sound a little like a New Japan wrestling feel to it. The themes fit a persona. Absolutely, Elemester. I totally agree with you on that. And he also states that I love Punk's theme song. Well, Punk was using that in WWE, so come on, let's get a little, pull back the reins a little bit, CM Punk's had that song forever. He was using that song when he came out to his UFC pay-per-view. So, yeah. And LMSer states that Darby's theme is terrific, I feel. And yeah, I totally agree. I think that Darby Allin's theme song is actually the most original song that wasn't made by a real famous musician. And, it's probably one of the best songs that is not well known by a well-known musician. So, yeah, I actually like his theme song at Everybody, and he's one of the original performers in AEW to begin with when it first started. Matt87 Eagles states this, and then I'm going to close off. I know I'm ending the show about a few minutes earlier than normal, but I don't have much more to talk about. Actually, there is one other thing I'm going to talk about just after I read this comment by Matt87 Eagle. What do you want to see from Jay White in AEW? Him just do his thing, man. Really. I mean, you have Jay White perform. That's all you need to do. He doesn't need anything else. The rest of it will just come naturally. I think his rival with Kenny Omega will be great. I think that will come out of what's going on right now. The Red Dragon, from what I was told by you, Matt, you stated that he's on some injury. I think Kyle O'Reilly's got a thing with his kid, and he just had a newborn kid. So that's why he's been off television with Bobby Fish. So when he gets back, I don't know, man. I mean, we may be looking at a 4-on-3 Elite versus Bullet Club type of situation. Now, granted, I mean, we could always see, Kenny Omega bring somebody else in to the Elite. Now, imagine this. Hold on a second. I want to say this to you guys. Imagine this shit. Imagine that Cody Rhodes doesn't sign with anybody. He stays completely like a free agent, doesn't say shit, doesn't do a fucking thing. Just goes about with his reality TV show and the game show that he's got on TBS. But imagine this. Cody Rhodes and Tony Khan finally come to an agreement on things. He re-signs with the company, and he joins back with the Elite. And he's friends with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks again. Imagine that. Now, wouldn't that be a hell of a fucking swerve? Everybody would say, oh, it's a work. No, it's not. It was real. It just happened to be that the case that Cody decided to re-sign back with the company because he didn't want to go anywhere else. Truly, he loves AEW. That's where he wanted to stay, and he didn't want to go anywhere else type of deal. Folks, this would be one of the biggest swerves of all time. Whether this is a work, whether it's real, it don't matter. It would be unbelievable. I think a lot of people would go crazy over this. I really do. And they would then have a 4-on-4 battle between the Elite and the former members of the Bullet Club. Well, I think Jay White's still part of the Bullet Club. I'm not sure where he's at it right now with New Japan Wrestling. But, yeah, that is That's what I think could possibly happen as well. And that would be kind of a mind boggler right there if that happens. Let me just pull up real quick something about The Rock, because I heard that somebody stated that The Rock wants to make a in-ring return sooner rather than later. This is kind of crazy. Rock's daughter gave him a compliment that took his breath away. No. Who cares? Um, yeah, The Rock did deliver a really interesting promo for the Super Bowl that sounded a lot like how he would conduct himself in a promo for a wrestling event, which I thought was interesting. Um, but yeah, I'm not finding any news information about this. I mean, there's just a lot of talk about how he was at the how he was talking at the Super Bowl and everything else. Just some other news articles about his other movies that he's doing at this point, like Black Adam, but nothing else was really mentioning about a possible in-ring return this year. Because from what I heard from one of the YouTubers, when they were talking about Cody Rhodes, they also found an article came up about The Rock possibly making a near future return for a WrestleMania match before WrestleMania 39, I believe. So that's just some of the stuff I heard online off of YouTube. Elamont Mester states that I thought it was cool that The Rock opened Super Bowl 56. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. He also states John Cena does phenomenal acting in Peacemaker. I actually have not watched one episode from HBO Max about the Peacemaker. Do not give me any spoilers at all. I am going to catch that at some point. Lately, I've been watching the Pam and Tommy TV show on Hulu, and I've been really entertained by that stuff. Seth Rogen has been excellent in that movie or that TV show. And El Monster, yeah, I will definitely see the Peacemaker TV show. My friend Matt 87 Eagles told me about it too, so I'm definitely aware of it. So I'll definitely check it out. Um, but yeah, he I lost what I was saying. Yeah, but the Pam and Tommy TV show that's on Hulu with Seth Rogen has been unbelievably funny in certain aspects. Other aspects has been very serious and very entertaining stuff, very accurate to reality and what happened and so forth. And I've been following it each and every week when the episode comes up. So I've been following it nonstop. Matt 87 Eagle says the last episode is this week. Are you talking about Tommy and Pam and Tommy or the Peacemaker? I'm just waiting for Matt 87 Eagle's response. Elmester says that Peacemaker deserves a second season. Hey, once I check it out and see it, I'll definitely give you guys my response on that too. I just haven't had a chance yet because I'm still following along with the Pam and Tommy story with Seth Rogen. But Ben 87 Eagles, they have to do what you're talking about. The last episode is for the Peacemaker or Tommy and Pam and Tommy show. I'm not really sure. I think you're referring to Peacemaker, but um, if that's the case, that's great because then I can just watch them back to back to back. Um, Matt, you haven't responded to my question. I'm trying to ask you a question. Please leave a comment in the chat. Last episode is this week. Oh, okay. Peacemaker. All right. All right. Sounds good. So yeah, once that comes out, I'll be able to watch all those episodes back to back. Probably watch in less than a week. All 6 or 7, 8 episodes, whatever amount of episodes they're doing, and then just let you guys know how I thought about it the next week afterwards. Um, Yeah, I'm sure it was probably very funny, entertaining stuff. I kind of hated that John Cena turned bad guy in the end of that movie, the the Suicide Squad. I thought he was pretty damn cool. He didn't really come across as an evil villain either, which made no sense to me. It doesn't come across that way in the actual TV show either, so it's kind of weird. Matt 87 Eagle also stated it's funny to hear Cena call Batman a pussy. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. That was funny. There's 8 episodes in season one, is what LMSer is telling me. All right, cool. So I'll have 8 episodes. I just gotta watch. I believe there was a few of them that were like 30 minutes at least, and some of them like 45 to 50. So I might be able to watch 2 episodes in one day. So yeah. But anyway, guys, at this time, if you haven't hit the like button already, please do, just to help out the channel and help out this video. I've been noticing that these Random Wrestling Talks episodes viewership is going up. So I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. If it's not live, at least you guys are checking me out afterwards when the stream is over. I am very happy with the way things have been going with these episodes, and I will continue to do them since they are worth my time. So at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, of course, and leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Daniel actually did state a comment. I will read it, and then I will be heading on out here. I heard Cena is doing better in acting with Peacemaker. Yeah, that's what LMSer was just stating here in the chat. So anyway, guys, I greatly appreciate all the comments. It was fun talking to you all. For the few that did comment in the chat, uh, for any people that stopped on by for a few moments, I did see that the viewership was going up slightly and then it kind of dropped off with the few other people that were in the chat. If you guys want to stop by, leave a comment at least for me to read off while I'm live here. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and read them out loud and respond to them for you guys. But at this time, guys, you know what to do. Thank you very much for watching. Again, I'll reiterate, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Have a great night, guys, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow for Dynamite. Bye.